Welcome to the Budget Mom YouTube channel. I'm Kamika Love from thebudgetmom.com, and we have Ryan back today with some exciting news. I'm so excited. We're here though to do a full February budget recap, and it was a doozy. Mine was a doozy. It was crazy. I had so many things that were not ordinary.
February is a weird month.
It was a weird month because it's only 28 days.
Right.
I had some of my February bills come out in the beginning of March. So of course I rolled over my starting balance, the income that I didn't use. I'm tracking them truly in the month that they happened, which was March.
Right.
And that just means, like, for instance, my son's cell phone bill.
It might look like you're over budget in March, kind of.
Yeah, it looks like I overspent because I'm paying for his cell phone bill in the beginning of the month and the end of the month again.
So twice. Okay,
Twice in the month, but technically for the overall year, it will even out to be the same, right?
Huh.
But also, I had some crazy things happening with my spending categories. You have some really exciting news that we're going to be sharing here in just a second. So let us show you where our dollars went in February, where we saved, and Ryan's debt goals. So first off, let's just get right into Ryan's exciting news. Now, if you've been following us here on YouTube on our budget recaps, we've been kind of journaling Ryan's experience with selling a brand new car that she bought a year ago now?
Yeah, literally like 2 months after I started working.
Yeah, a year ago, went off the lot with a brand new car, ended up with $500 payments.
Yeah, over $500 payments.
Let us know the good news.
I sold it. I sold it.
Yes.
Long story short, I sold it. I'll explain it more. But I mean, it was an odd experience. My recommendation for anybody that's kind of wanting to sell a car is ask all the questions, because I was told like 5 different things. And I'll kind of explain that a little more whenever I show you guys my number. But my car is gone.
Okay, the big thing on why this is so important and why it's so exciting is because now that Ryan no longer has the $500 car payments, she can be debt-free this year.
Yep, by the end of the year.
100% debt-free. And that is ginormous.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's huge. It goes to show how important one decision can change your entire finances.
Totally,
It was you going from the mindset of new car,
right,
to, oh, I could pay off all my student loans if I didn't have that payment.
Yep.
And then realizing that dream and then putting it into action.
Yeah.
So this has been the journey, and I'll go ahead and link our last recap for you here in the video, but it's a major step.
Yeah, it's huge.
Because now that we don't have the car payment, it's rock and rolling on debt payments.
Yeah.
And Ryan's going to be showing you, though, how she was prepared to sell a car that she was upside down on and what that looked like with their budget.
Yep.
So let's get to the Budget by Paycheck workbook and our closing out worksheets. Okay, so I'm using the Budget by Paycheck booklets, the box set. Ryan is using the full-size workbook, which is why you're seeing a little bit of size difference. Here's what's happening for me in February. We're gonna be looking at the monthly budget category breakdown. I was $1,017 higher than my normal budget amount for insurance.
Oh, wow.
$284 over for my investments, and $426 over for investing.
Nice.
Or for saving.
Hey.
But those are all good things to be
I was
over
gonna
your
say,
budget.
that's a good problem to have.
Now with my insurance, the reason this is so high is because in February, my home insurance is due.
Oh, okay.
So I pay my house insurance. I don't have a mortgage. I own my home outright. So I pay my home insurance once a year. And I just save up a little bit every month to cover that expense. And that's why it's seeing such a drastic amount for the insurance category. Also, I'm still getting used to seeing my savings and my investments broken out into 2 separate categories. So I saved 33% of my income. I invested 18% of my income, which really technically that's like 54% that I either saved or invested.
Right, went to savings in
which
some
is
way.
huge.
Yeah.
I am still trying to be a lot more intentional with where I throw my money. And I'll show you what that means. So usually when I have leftover cash in my cash envelopes, I usually just throw it all towards my landscaping savings. But I said, no, I need to be more intentional with the goals I'm trying to complete. And sinking funds is a big part of that.
Right.
And so I said, I'm going to use now so I use a lot of it leftover unused cash from February to go into different sinking funds to get ahead.
Yeah.
And so if I finish those early, then that gives me money that I can then place into investments.
Nice.
So the big thing for me is what you might have noticed on my food. I only spent $166 in the month of February for food.
Oh my gosh.
Now, I know most people are like, that's impossible. They're going to say, why is it like that?
Right.
People are be questioning right now.
Right.
Here's what happened. I literally ate strictly from my freezer. We have a ginormous freezer that is filled with meat out in my garage, and we did a whole bunch of chicken.
That's awesome.
And ground beef recipes. Plus, this does not include, there were about once a week where we did eat out that Christopher paid for.
Okay.
So I need to be transparent there.
Right.
I didn't pay for it, but my cost for food, which was going to the grocery, I did do one small grocery haul, going and getting my half and half, the staples, bread, eggs, about $166.
Wow.
I'm never that low in my food.
I was going to say, that's amazing.
In fact, it's been a really long time, probably over a year since I've had numbers like that. But that's what happens when you have a freezer, a fridge, and pantry full of food items, and you're aware of it.
Yep.
And we did a ton of crock pot, a ton of Instapot recipes.
Awesome.
So
wow.
If it's in pink, I was over budget, my budget monthly amount. If it's under budget, I'm in the green. So that's where I was with my total budget category breakdown. I did separate my income again, like last time. I had a starting balance of $983. Earned income was $5,000. I had other income that equaled $767. Now my other earned income was pretty important for me because I sold some things in Macari.
Nice.
So
wow.
I sold about over $160 worth of
That's
items
awesome.
on Macari in February. So you can see that other income here, and then a little $12 other income from Macari there. So that's where that other income, and of course the income Chris gives me. And then I documented any savings used.
Right.
If you take that and all of that incoming inflow, I had $7,797 for my total inflow for the month of February, with $5,000 of that being earned income.
Yep. I need to start splitting mine up like that because I like that.
Yeah, because it really does show the difference that everything coming into your accounts that you use for spending isn't necessarily earned income.
Right. And like we've talked about in the past, that could really throw off your percentages.
It really
when you look
can.
at that.
Like when you think about how much money you save, well, you're not going to use savings used as part of that. You're not using saving used to save.
Right.
And we'll be getting into that when we go over the monthly debt and savings breakdown, but it's helpful for me to know what are the different inflows into my account. Right. So,
okay, so my starting balance coming into February was about $1,300 with incoming income. Like I just said, I haven't been splitting mine up like Miko does, but I probably will start doing that starting in March. But all of my incoming income, now this includes any sinking funds I used, any transfers from savings accounts that I used, as well as my paycheck, was about $5,200. So my total monthly income was around $6,590. Everything in here in green means I was under budget for the month, and everything in red means I was over. So under and mostly
your food.
I know, right? That's always such a win for me, no matter how much it is. But my debt. So I paid off my car. So I transferred. How I kind of did that, and I'll kind of talk about it more on the next page. But I put $2,300 towards debt. And I did transfer $1,000 from 2 different savings accounts into my checking account to help cover this cost. Now, another thing I want to mention is whenever I paid off my car, there was about $500 that they I guess they didn't run with the original sell. And that was still pending whenever I closed out my budget.
Wow.
So I have another $500 that you'll see in March that just didn't hit my account when I had closed out my budget. So that's kind of why this looks like that. But other than that, I was over in insurance, and I got double charged for my dental insurance this month. So I set it up all weird, but it was fine.
Wait! I was charged double for my.
I don't understand.
Look, my dental
Did you get
insurance,
charged?
I was double charged. Oh,
You
because
were.
it didn't come out in February. It's coming out March 1st, and it came out for double.
Oh.
Weird, right? So when you said that, I'm like, wait a minute.
Weird. Yeah, I know. I noticed that. So I called them, and I guess I set up like auto pay and reoccurring payments, so it just double paid for me. So in March, I won't have to pay dental, but that's why this is over.
But you knew about it.
Right. And I
Wow.
called to see what was going on because that was weird. I was about $2 over on utilities, and then I saved about $359 more than I had budgeted.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, other than that, Valentine's Day, this was a work reimbursement for Miko and I's photo shoots that I ended up getting reimbursed for my paycheck. And then I had a rock chip in my car that I was selling. So I was like, I need to get this fixed before I try to sell it so it doesn't decrease the value. So that was $150, and I pulled that from my car maintenance sinking fund. So yeah, I was off by $0, which was huge to me.
I know some people might be asking about this work reimbursement. So I am Ryan's employer.
Yes.
I reimburse, now this is a personal decision as a business owner, as an employer. When Ryan, drives to my house to do these photo shoots, I reimburse her for the gas because it is a long trip.
Right.
When Ryan went and got clothes for the photo shoots, I wanted to reimburse those costs for her.
Right.
Anything work related, if Ryan spends money on, I tell her, hey, add it to your paycheck.
Yeah, and I mean, so it's just included in my paycheck.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Is how that is kind of tracked, I guess.
Yeah, so it was included in her paycheck, and she spent money for these work related. Now for the photo, when she says photo shoot, I wanted her to go out and get some nice clothes, anything that she wanted for the photo shoot. So that's how a work reimbursement works and why it's showing here in her budget.
Right.
All right, so let's go to the monthly debt and savings breakdown. So I did something.
Oh yeah, you did.
So I don't have debt, and we will probably be looking at adding this to the new Budget by Paycheck workbook. Now, our Budget by Paycheck workbook that's coming out in October is already in the works, but this will be a one that we'll probably release in 2023.
Yeah.
Or 2022, excuse me. And, I'm debt free.
Right.
So I don't use a lot of these spaces.
Right.
We're looking at doing a debt-free version.
I love that.
So this is really for debt. I don't have debt, so I wanted to start tracking my investments. Now remember, the monthly debt and savings breakdown is all about not knowing, it's not about the final number, right? We all say, oh, I saved this much money. Oh, I paid off this much debt. But that's not the important question. And the important thing to recognize, what it's important is to know exactly, specifically what you're throwing your money at. So for my investments, I invested $1,434. That was 21% of my income. So the question then becomes well, what investments did I invest in? I invested $600 into my brokerage non-retirement taxable investment account and $834 to my 529. Why is breaking it down this important? Because my spending, where I'm choosing to throw my dollars, tells me what I value and what is a priority. If you're investing for many different things, just like if you're paying off many debts, if you're saving for many savings goals, there's got to be a hierarchy of structure, of priority. Right. And with me, my 529 is more important than my taxable accounts. James's college funds is more important.
For sure.
So my spending should be reflecting that, which it is. 58% of it went to 529, 42% went to a taxable non-retirement investment account.
I love how you
and then
it like that.
My sinking funds, so I saved 33% of my income. Now, keep in mind, the figures, the income, the inflow that I'm using for this is starting balance plus my earned income plus any other income. The savings that I used in the month of February is not included in this calculation. because the savings that I used, I had an expense that automatically offset that savings used. I was using it for a very specific purpose. So for instance, my home insurance savings.
Right.
I had a home insurance expense.
Right.
So I saved 84% for sinking funds.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And that goes back to being intentional.
Yeah, for sure. Wow.
13% went to landscaping, 1% went to my $5 challenge, and then 2% went to my 2021 challenge. Savings challenges. And I'll put a link to our 2021 savings challenges in the description of this video. But is this percentages? Are they based off of my priorities?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing.
My intention was to get ahead on my sinking funds. 84%. And then, of course, I still have a big goal with my landscaping, which was the next biggest one. So this sheet is more about, is your spending aligning with your financial goals?
Okay, so again, I didn't split mine up like Mika's, but moving forward, I'm going to, just because I like that organization of it and how it looks. So my total monthly income, like I said, was about $6,600. I paid off $2,300 of that to debt, which was about 35% of my income. $2,268 of that went to my car. Like I said, I still have another $500 that'll come out in March for that. And then the other went to my student loan.
So here's the thing. This is because you guys might be wondering, well, why is Ryen paying towards her car when she just got done selling it? This is what it looks like when you are upside down on your car.
Yep.
So Ryen, the amount that she owed for her car was more than what she could sell the car for. Okay,
Yep.
That's being upside down. So when she sold the car and got the money, she still had a balance left on her car loan.
Yep. I was upside down, so I owed about $2,200 more. So this includes, I know that you're probably saying, oh, well, $2,200, you paid it all off. But this also includes my $500 payment every month. So I was about $2,200 upside down on my car.
Right.
But I was able to pay that when I sold it, so that's all taken care of.
So what Ryen did was she prepared in advance. So she's known about selling this car for months.
Yep, and I knew I was going to be upside down.
And she knew she was going to be upside down. So what did she do? She started tucking away money into a savings account, a little bit each paycheck, to prepare herself for selling it.
Exactly.
And that's how she prepared, and actually was 100% stress-free transaction.
Right. It was painful for sure, but I mean, I had the money, I had the money there, and moving forward, I don't have any car payment.
Right, it's done.
So that's mind-boggling to me.
It's done.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling to me.
Perfect.
And then on my savings side, like I said, my income, $65.90, I put about $759 to savings, which is about 12% of my income. Sinking funds was the majority of that.
Sure.
And like I said, I made a goal starting in 2021 that any unused cash from my envelopes is going towards a house savings fund account, just because I know eventually I want to. So I'm just setting aside whenever I can. $192 was for my challenges, and then $100 for my emergency fund.
So like the essential savings.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. All right, let's move on to our spending comparison. So we'll talk about mine first. So the monthly spending comparison is always about comparing this month to last month. Why do we do that? To see short monthly trends. Are we setting goals for ourselves, small goals, every single month that will lead us to our bigger goals? Now, for me, it was decreasing my food spending. And because I decreased my food spending, I was able to put so much more into sinking funds.
Right.
I went into February knowing that if I could decrease that category and other categories, I mainly focused on food is because one day when I was getting cereal for James, I noticed how much crap I had in my pantry. And I'm like, yeah, no.
Wow.
And so February was my make it work, use what I have at home month.
That's awesome. That's a huge.
I spent 13% of my income in February or in January compared to 2% in February.
With what, a $764 change? That's amazing.
But keep in mind too, guess what I did in January? I did my Costco bulk grocery run where we stocked up on all those meats.
Right. Which made you be able to have $166.
Right. So that's why there is such a big difference, but even still my normal food budget's around $450 a month is what I spend.
Wow.
So I also saved 33%, which was $264 more this month.
Nice.
And investments, I invested $600
Wow.
more.
Wow.
Remember how I talked about in an Instagram story how I wanted to take intentional action with investing?
Right.
It's showing.
Yeah.
It's starting to show in my actual numbers,
That's
which is
awesome.
really rewarding, and it's really motivating to see that.
I bet.
Okay, so if it's in pink, I spent more in February than I did in January, and if it's green, I was less than. So insurance, obviously I had my house insurance.
Right. Oh yeah, that was.
So I mean, really that was the biggest one that was kind of wonky for
Yeah.
me.
Wow. All right, so I had an increase of income of about $1,600, and like I've been saying, that's just from me transferring that savings money into my checking account to pay off my car. But other than that, not too much weird stuff or out of the ordinary stuff going on. If it's in red, that means I spent more in February than I did in January, and if it's in green, I spent less in February. So I spent more in food by not much, $24.
Obviously, debt.
I know, right? $11.65 more to debt. And then everything else was pretty smaller numbers, I would say.
Yeah.
I did spend less in my personal, miscellaneous, household.
Did you have a specific goal that you want to challenge yourself in the month of February compared to January?
To sell off my car.
So you did that. Okay,
Yeah, I did
so
it.
So that was the main
Yeah.
goal, and it's done.
Yep.
And it's reflected in our numbers.
Yep. So now I'm just starting on my student loans.
Okay, so these are the 3 worksheets that we use. They're called the Where Did My Money Go worksheets to close out our budgets. So those are our exciting February numbers. A lot of things happening. Home insurance coming out, you selling your car, me investing more, me decreasing my food budget, you kicking butt in your essential savings. A lot happened.
Yeah.
So Ryan, talk to us now. What exactly can we expect to see now that we lose the car payment? What happens with your debt?
Okay, so I have about less than $30,000 worth of debt now, which is so crazy to me that I got rid of like over $20,000.
Right, because how much was your car debt?
I owed about 20.
She just got rid of $20,000 worth of debt.
Yeah, it's so
insane.
weird to like verbalize that, but moving forward, I have a student loan that is not private or not federal. It's a private student loan. So it's not deferred right now or anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's still accruing interest. So that's the one that I'm tackling. It's at 11% interest rate.
Oh, bye.
Yeah.
Oh,
so that is buy. Luckily, it's not a big balance.
Crap.
But that is my first
Kick
one I'm
that
getting rid
thing's
of.
ass.
Yeah.
Oh, but.
And then after
Yes.
and then after that, I have 3 more federal student loans that are all under $5,000.
Yes.
balance.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
What a great plan to tackle that student loan debt.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But hey, no more cars, so
It's off to the races.
I know. I'll be chipping away pretty quickly.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So, March,
Yeah.
I have a small trip coming up. You're not going to see a lot in my budget. I'm using credit for my air miles.
Nice.
That I had to cancel 3 trips last year because of COVID and everything. So I got reimbursed with air miles. I'm using them up.
Yeah.
It's mainly just a relaxing trip.
Good.
It's to get out of Spokane into warm weather. We probably won't even be leaving the Airbnb much.
Yeah.
It's to just lay by the pool.
Hey.
And to visit with a
That's
couple
awesome.
of close friends.
Yeah, that'll be so fun.
It's a short trip. It's only 4 days.
Yeah.
3 days if you
It'll
really
be needed.
Yeah, it will be needed.
A
And
nice like recoup and
yeah.
restart. Yeah.
Reset button.
Reset. That's
button.
a good word.
Yes. And so that's really all I have. I mean, St. Patrick's Day is coming up, which I usually, so St. Patrick Day tradition in my house is Jamesy and I always do one art project.
Aww.
Every year we do an art project. He loves doing like the green glitter and shamrocks.
Oh yeah.
And
that's
every
cute.
year he seems to make a shamrock necklace. Okay,
That's his thing.
you go, son. And then also we do corned beef.
Oh nice. Okay.
It's a meal I
Yeah.
only make once a year. Christopher hates it. I love it.
Corned
We're
beef.
having it. And so that's the only thing I have coming up in March.
Nice. I don't have anything, I don't think.
Besides-
Not as of right now, at least.
Yeah, I mean, things can always change.
Right,
but,
right.
So one thing I want to talk about, every single time we post a video like this, I get a question, Miko, what does close out your budget mean? And that is such a good question.
Yeah.
Some people call it reconciling their budget. So the purpose of closing out your budget, there's a couple. One is to look at what you budgeted versus what you spent. Okay, that's a big goal of closing. That's actually like the definition of closing out your budget.
Yeah.
For me, it's a lot deeper than that. Is your spending aligning with your financial goals? Are you hitting your short-term goals as far as previous month to this month that you're closing out? Not only that, but for me, one of the biggest things, like what I showed you, is motivation.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, seeing my investments.
And yeah, totally. I was the same with my debt.
Yeah, like I
totally feel that.
Like I told myself intentional action when it came to my investing. Getting over that feeling of being uncomfortable, scared, like frustrated from not feeling like I couldn't do it on my own.
Right.
And just getting over that hump and just
doing it.
You know, even if it was like, for me, it was like small action every day. Okay.
You're almost there.
Like, look at the account I want to open. Okay. Then go to the open page. Okay. That's one day. And then
progress.
yeah, exactly.
Baby step.
And that was part of my big thing about my word for this year was intentional. I'm throwing out every other measurable that I used in my life to measure success. And instead, I'm replacing it with intentional action as being my measure for success.
I love that.
Because so much of the time, what spurs on our momentum in this journey is one small action. Like, for instance, for working out, there are some days, most days, all days, that
Let's be real.
that I don't want to work out. But the moment I put on my shoes and get dressed to work out, I'm there. I'm in the mindset. And all it took was that one small action.
Yeah.
So that's really, the closing out process is a lot more than just looking at what you spent versus what you budgeted.
Right. Totally.
I mean, this is a game changer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that is our full budget recap. If you found this video helpful, please like it and don't forget to subscribe. Are we recording?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I
Are you
think
sure?
so.
Oh God, make.
Okay.
Fun. Yes. Celebration.